Good evening. This is Miss Golden Girl here, and I got a special treat for you today. I'm going to do an interview with my classmate, Melba going Cola, and her husband, Jerry Cola. They are, I started this as going to be snowbirds, but I think it may be more about retirees and embracing the golden years. Melba and Jerry, they seek warmer weather in the wintertime. They live here in Michigan, where I am house sitting and babysitting. My home is sunny Georgia, but I'm here in Michigan in the wintertime. So I have some questions to ask Melba and Jerry, and I'm going to have to switch it up a little bit because it was going to be on snowbirding, but I think it's more appropriate for them retirees. But the snowbird season is actually from October to April. And my first question was going to be to Melva and Jerry. What month during that seasonal period do they seek a warmer climate? So Jerry and Melva, what month during that seasonal period, October to April, that you fly away from Michigan to a sunny location?
Yeah, I'll start out and then I'll let Melba talk. Melba grew up in Pontiac, so she knew all about Michigan. But I grew up in Houston, Texas. And I only moved to Kalamazoo in 1984 when I was recruited to work for the Upjohn Company. And they brought me up there in June. So I had zero idea what I was getting into. And we started to go through those winters. And I hate winters. But the month that I always hated the most was March. Because by March, I figured the winter should be over. And we might still have 3 months more in Michigan. Who knows, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But, back in Houston, we'd be talking about tomatoes by then. But, so that was really hard for me. But we lived in Michigan totally the whole year until 2017. Actually, 19. 2019, we decided that we'd move part of the year out here to California. Well, we have friends out here, and plus, I like the beach. I actually grew up on the Gulf Coast. This is totally different, but I still enjoy walking on the beach.
Okay.
And the good thing this time of year, they have some beautiful low tides and some incredibly clear skies, just as blue as you could imagine. That noise that you hear out there is the Pacific Coast Highway, the famous Pacific Coast Highway. We live right on.
That's one. Is it 1 or 101?
Yeah, the 101.
101, yeah.
On the corner.
I used to live in Sacramento. And, always wanted to drive that coast, from Sacramento down to the LA area. But I never got a chance because, it's slower. So
we did that once. I can't remember how many years ago, but we got a convertible red Mustang. Great Detroit story, right?
Okay,
convertible red Mustang up in San Francisco, and we drove all the way from San Francisco to San Diego.
Okay, all right.
You put on your bucket list.
Yeah, excellent.
You know what? When I moved to California, it was me and two of my 3 children, 2 of them, we drove and we came into San Diego. At that time, my uncle was living in San Diego and he had a boat. He had a houseboat. And so I wanted to come into San Diego to see his houseboat, and I took my kids to SeaWorld. So this is something. All right, so then we will say it's March that you're really trying to get away from Michigan.
Yeah, February and March. Yeah.
February and March.
Yeah, and so, but last year we spent Christmas here. You could talk about it. It was pretty nice. Right? Go ahead, show about Christmas.
Yeah,
there wasn't a white Christmas, but it was a sandy Christmas.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Anyway, that's about the time of year we come, is February, March, and we come back to Michigan in April, and we might come back here for a few months because we don't stay out here more than 5 months a year.
Okay. All right. So then my next question of you, as we've got that your months that you're definitely there, is going to be February and March. And you definitely got to be there for March because Jerry said he needs to get away from Michigan. And I just like to add this, Jerry. When we were growing up in Pontiac elementary school, the weather did get nice in March. We could fly our kites in March. I remember having a spring coat in March. So there was a time that the weather did get nice in Pontiac in March. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it was probably one day that you remember.
No, that was elementary school growing up. March.
Yeah,
March was the windy month.
You only remember the good days.
But I always wanted to get away from Michigan in January.
Yeah.
January is brutal in Michigan between the ice storms and below zero and everything. And when I worked for the transportation department, I was young and I had to watch all these people, in the wintertime, especially, the more longevity employees, so age-wise, that they were going somewhere during the winter months, especially January and February. They go to Hawaii, they go Cancun. But my next question is your location. You are located, what part of California? We said San Diego, but
yeah, it's north San Diego County.
Okay.
As you go north from San Diego, there are a number of little small towns right along the coast. There are little beach communities.
Okay.
Until you get to Camp Pendleton, the Marine camp, which is just a little bit north of here. So we're south of Camp Pendleton. It's beautiful weather. I say it's within 5 degrees of my age all year round.
So what is your all year round temperature?
Around 70.
That's good. Give or take 5 degrees, right?
Exactly.
One thing I recall about San Diego, when we came through there, it was August 1992. It was so hot. And to my understanding, San Diego doesn't normally get hot. It's usually, like you said, give or take about that 75 degree. Similar to, I think, Los Angeles.
Well, it sort of depends on how close you are to the coast.
Okay.
So we're talking about right where we are, which is just a couple of blocks off the ocean. If you drive a mile inland, it could be 100 degrees or 110 degrees.
Okay. Is that getting closer to the desert then?
Yeah, right. You go towards the desert.
Okay. All right then. All right. So now my next question for you is, how did you happen to choose Oceanside, San Diego?
Well,
I guess it's Oceanside, California, right?
Yeah. Well, what we liked about it was near where Jerry was gonna have his work, but it just had this 70s vibe to it. It hasn't been gentrified like Carlsbad and the city of San Diego.
So
you see a lot of surfers.
Yeah, as you go south from where we are, the real estate gets much more expensive.
And it's much.
So this was an area of town that was expanding where things were more reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was part of your reason for selecting that particular location.
So things get cheaper if you go further east, but then it gets hotter. Or they also get cheaper if you go further north.
Okay.
But until you get up towards Los Angeles, and then it gets expensive again.
So now how far is this still from Texas? That's still a pretty great distance, isn't it?
Well, it's an 18-hour drive to Austin where our son lives. 18-hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically Interstate 8 and Interstate 10.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now, my next question for you is, we talked about the location, and I want to ask you, how did you become snowbirds? But go ahead, and I'm going to ask it, and then you can explain that you're not really quite snowbirds. It was some other reasons that brought you to Oceanside, California, San Diego.
Yeah, well, we had started our business in Kalamazoo, in downtown Kalamazoo, and
Okay.
we were able to get some investment from the West Coast, and they wanted to set up an office in the West, and this is where some of the management team lived. So this is where we decided to put it. But it also was an area that I always was interested in coming to, because it has a lot to offer.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of Mexican American culture that reminds me of Texas,
Okay.
and we can get some pretty decent food. In fact, we have a little Mexican shop right downstairs where I can go get some tamales and enchiladas.
Oh, all right, all right. The real tamales, right?
And carnitas.
We love seafood, and we just love walking the beach and being near the water. And
You can tell from Melba's pictures, we like to go up every night and watch the sunset.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. We tried to give y'all the up on their rooftop, but it was too much sun and was causing a glare. So maybe another time we can get some pictures of them up there. Oh, maybe when the sun is setting.
Oh yeah, we'll send you some pictures.
Okay, all right then. This is just so exciting for me. Now, so Jerry, you're still working then, is that correct?
Yeah, as much as I can.
Okay, okay. So here is Jerry. He's semi-retired.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be 72 this year.
Okay. And Melba is fully retired, is that correct?
yes, I am.
And you retired when, Melba?
Oh, in 2001.
Oh, you've been retired a long time then.
You know, she was an elementary school teacher, so she got hazard pay for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Or is that a joke?
That's a joke.
No, after our son graduated in 2001, I subbed one more year, and I decided that I wanted to pursue other interests. And so what I do now is I'm a amateur genealogist.
Oh, okay.
And I do family trees for other people and for ourselves. And I like to solve mysteries.
Oh, great.
And that's what my father was a policeman. He was a captain on the police force in Pontiac. And I just have this investigative type of nature. And I like to do research. And that's what so I'm doing my second love. I mean, this is my really love that I always loved. And it's not as dangerous as being a policewoman or something like that, you know.
This is just awesome, because embracing the golden years and beyond. And I would say that you, Melba and Jerry, is a prime example of embracing the golden years. Now, Jerry, if I understand correctly, you're a scientist, are you?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. And Melba, Jerry is still working. Are you still working in the field of science?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Melba retired in 2001, went on to pursue her dream of genealogy. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And not only has she traced her family tree, but you help others to trace their family tree.
Yes.
She's been treading on mine because it goes back to Sicily, and so she doesn't want to uncover anything from the old Sicilian relatives.
People that don't even know me, they'll see my tree and they'll ask me questions. How are you? You know, could you help me? I need more information on my great grandparents or something like that. And so I help them and lead them there like that.
Wow, that is awesome. I've learned some more information about the two of you from this interview. And the channel, I say, I aspire to inspire before I expire. And your story should definitely inspire someone else. One thing I noticed, from the algorithm on YouTube channel, my audience is 65 plus. But I'm hoping that, maybe someone 65 plus will share some of the videos with the younger generation, because this is just an inspiration to see how you've done this. You retired, went on to pursue your dream in genealogy. Jerry, he's semi-retired and he's still working in his field of science while you out there in sunny California.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Yes. And I mean, it's like you've got balance there because you're retired, but Jerry is still working. Has that ever been an issue?
No, no, we work it. And what I would like to tell people is just keep yourself engaged in the world and travel. And we're planning our 50th wedding anniversary next year. We're going to Italy and Sicily next year. We're taking our children. We're going to take them to the towns where Jerry's father's family came from.
Oh,
and
awesome.
his mother. And that's for the first time. They have met Jerry's mother's side of the family a few times, but this will be the first time they'll get to engage in meeting people from the Colca side.
Oh, okay. I'm taking my family to Hawaii in June,
Nice.
And I'm going to be there. I rented a condo for a month. And so then I've got guests coming in each week. And so, but yes, that's awesome. And this is what my channel is about, is to just share as we are embracing our golden years.
Like one of our kids' friends told me once, old people are cool.
And keep this young, just doing things like this, keep you young and engaged in enjoying life.
Yes, and I tell you, this is a new adventure for me, this YouTube channel, and embracing this social media. I could have easily said, no, I'm not going to deal with it, but I would be left behind. I would really be left behind.
You have too much personality to keep it to yourself. I'm just saying.
I want to thank you again for being my first interviewee.
All right.
Thanks so much for asking, Anita.
Yeah, best of luck.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be fun.
Yes, it is, because I got a few classmates that I can ask, right?
You guys have one hell of a class. I enjoyed meeting them at all the reunions. I was always impressed with the people Melba went to school with.
I just hate that we haven't had a chance to do our 50th reunion yet, but the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Who's first of all, you
Yeah.
can do that,
Yeah. All right, well, y'all take care, and I'll be back in touch.
Yeah, and let us know when it's all ready, and we'll.
Oh, I will. You do not have to worry.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Sunny California.
Yeah, you got it.
Bye.